So tonight we're going to troubleshoot this radio. The receiver audio suddenly stopped on it, and this is a radio I designed and built from scratch. We're going to see what happened. It seems like potentially one of the voltage rails must have died because it's very systemic, the problem in the radio. All the 24 volt stuff seems to be alive, the 12 volt stuff is alive. I wonder if the 5 volt rail died on the power supply, potentially. So we'll open up, test some voltages, and see what's going on. Okay, the root cause of the problem here, the 6 volt power supply portion of this old Power 1, which I really like these things were workhorses, and I still like using old ones, old surplus ones to this day, like this one. I was getting, here are all my voltages, the fuses coming off the Power 1. I was getting over voltage protection circuit tripping off, and I believe how these work. I think they use this SCR, shorts out, crowbars the power supply and hits the current limit or something. I think that's what happens. So anyway, if the power supply is loaded, it might go down to 6 volts and then it won't trip the over voltage protection. But if you get up to 6.2, it will. So I unhooked the fuse and it crowbarred when I turned it on, measuring 900 millivolts on the output, which is the same across this SCR. 900 millivolts. So presumably the crowbar went off because the thing wasn't regulating. So then I thought, well, maybe let's check the chip. So I checked the input, the pins for that chip, and let's see if I have here's an example schematic with that chip. So I checked pins 11 and 12, and it was getting power, so the goes intos were okay. So then I said, all right, it's crowbarring still, so I'll swap this chip over here with that one. I'll just move this one over and see if it works. And now, if we turn it on, it works. And I have, and I could actually regulate it like I couldn't before, but now I can actually adjust it. So, I think we're good. And I have one bad regulator chip. So, radio's not happy right now because I don't have ±5 on it. So anyway, I'll just be replacing this chip here, and we should be in good shape. Here we go, we've got the replacement chips, and I suppose I'll put one into the 24 volt regulator and make sure it's regulated, and then that'll be the end of this repair. We can get this radio back in action doing whisper. Okay, stand corrected. That was the -5 rail. So if we adjust it, let's see if we've got control over it. Yeah, and we do. Okay. I'm just going to tune up the power supply for each of the rails here. And then should be almost done. The voltages check out just fine, and I tweaked them a little bit. And the 24 volt supply over voltage is at about a little over 25 volts. I found that out. So I tried to give it a little extra to get some more power out, as always the case with ham radios, but the over voltage SCR kicked in once I got north of 25. Now here's the spare chip I ordered too, and I just zip tied it to the power supply because I'm not going to need that part for anything else I have. And I may as well just put it with this radio, because I've had this radio for 10 years and I'm using it for a decade. So next time one of these guys fails, then we have the spare part right there. So we'll put this back together and we'll press it back in. So let's take a tune through. It's early in the morning, so a little early, so not a lot of action right now, but it's definitely functioning again. Some data or something going on there, but the radio's definitely back in action. And the transmit light is full brightness now, which is not a big improvement. Pretty cool. Okay, here we go. The radio is complete. I've paired the power supply and we are back on the air with Whisper and also a super bright transmit light, which I've never had before. So that's pretty cool. This light's always been really dim. I added an NPN, or sorry, not an NPN, an NMOS there. So I have 28 volts or 24 volts driving all the lamps in here. These are all 24 volt bulbs, and my PTT line's 12 volts high. So this was always really dim, and now that's bright. So anyway, everything's looking good, and we're bringing in the Whisper contacts left and right. We're being heard all over the world, and we're hearing, picking up stations from all over the world. So we'll just keep this on, put some more hours on the receiver, put this over in AGC mode, and that's it. That's the end of the repair. Another successful repair.